También ha contestado en las últimas horas el presidente ucraniano. Hoy, por cierto, es la última reunión Ramstein, la última reunión de Austin, de un Biden, que por cierto ha cancelado su viaje. Escuchamos ya a Volodímir Zelensky.
It's too small to make a real impact on history. And we've come such a long way that it would honestly be crazy to drop the ball now and not keep building on the defense coalitions we've created, especially since they are already helping us grow and strengthen what's basically our shared defense power. No matter what's going on in the world, everyone wants to feel sure that their country will not just be erased off the map. That used to depend on a handful of big capitals, but now it's on all of us, on how we work together, how ready we are to own our future, and how well we can convince our partners to stand with us. The more determination we show in defending our interests, the more interest our partners, and especially the US, will see it's good to stay on our side. Yesterday I held a special meeting of the Supreme Commander-in-Chief's staff, and the focus was on the production and supply of drones for our soldiers, for our army, and electronic warfare. Drones are something that has already changed the nature of war. And the changes are far from over. Today there is a direct dependence to stop the advance of the enemy, to stop losing people and territories. We need drones. Drones detour the enemy, keep them at the distance. It can be done. Production of drones in Ukraine is more cost-effective than anywhere else. This year, we in Ukraine want to set a record for the number and quality of drones we produce and get from our partners. And we are focusing on drones that our brigades need to hold the front lines, and drones essential for ensuring security, like maritime drones and drones made for deep strikes on the enemy's military facilities and infrastructure in their territory. We've already signed a significant number of contracts, with many more still in the works, and I urge all of you to get even more actively involved in building up this arsenal of drones. Ukrainians have the most experience in Europe with using drones, and we also have the biggest capacity in Europe to produce drones. So first, please invest more in these Ukrainian strengths, because after the war it will also be your strength. Second, invest in the talented people in your countries who can help make all of us stronger in the drone field. Next, most of the countries represented here have bilateral security cooperation. I'm grateful to those countries with which we've signed bilateral security agreements, 27 of them as of today. And fully implementing these agreements is a real contribution, not only to our security in Ukraine, but also to your security. But we are a bigger number here in Ramstein, much more bigger. Let's pool our strengths together and make such agreements with all the participants. And I'm asking my Minister of Defense to work with the Secretary and with all the ministers to increase the number of these documents. Of course, if partners will support this idea. And I know that it will strengthen our front line, and it will also protect, which is very, very important, especially in winter, it will protect our energy sector too. Not only in Ukraine, but also in your lands. It will boost the security programs. And now we see all the reports with underwater cables in the Baltic Sea, and we all see drone incidents in some countries that are raising serious concerns. We see destabilization in Africa, which threatens Europe with new migration waves. And we are also learning more about how Russian intelligence paid militants in Afghanistan to target coalition soldiers when your troops were present there. Moscow cashed in to kill your soldiers, American soldiers, NATO country soldiers. How can this be forgiven or forgotten? Russia's hybrid aggression and sabotage against the entire Western world is ongoing, and only by keeping and strengthening our cooperation, by boosting our agreements and coalitions, can we truly protect the normal lives of people in all our countries. I do everything I can to end this war with dignity for Ukraine and all of Europe this year, and I know I can count on your support. And we all must remember that ending the war is our shared goal, not Russians. It's what Ukrainians, Europeans, Americans, and many of our global partners want. Countries as far apart as Japan, Saudi Arabia, and Argentina also wish us peace. But here is the thing: Putin is not just holding on to his investments in aggression. He is doubling down. He has even started basically hiring soldiers from North Korea to keep this war going. North Korea studies modern warfare. They do not value their people, and we know it. They lose them 4,000 as for today. But Pyongyang gets experience cheap to re-export the war, maybe there in the Pacific. At the same time, this collusion with North Korea shows Putin's weakness, because no ruler in Moscow would ever lower themselves to beg in Pyongyang unless facing critical problems. So we've got to keep the pressure on Russia. That's what ensures our soldiers get the weapons they need. That's what sanctions are for. And I'm asking all our partners, especially the US and the EU, to turn up the heat on Russia's energy sector. Sanctions are needed against every element of Russian energy, and the Russian tanker fleet must be stopped. Russia's war budget for 2025 is 25% bigger than last year's. If we want to stop the killing, we have got to cut off Putin's cash flow. Putin will start thinking about peace only when his inner circle tells him he is out of money. And one more thing, the key to resisting aggression is motivation, and we know it. Motivation to risk your life to save your country, but motivation needs fuel, and the best fuel is success. I mean successful actions, successful agreements. When our troops can shoot down Russian missiles, including ballistic ones, and keep Russian aircraft away from Ukraine, it provides the motivation we desperately need. And we've had talks with the US about licensing the production of air defense systems and missiles here in Ukraine, and this could become a significant part of our security guarantees, and it's absolutely doable. But we must keep in mind that the last NATO summit promises haven't been fulfilled yet. We need very much, we need air defense systems you gave us already, thank you so much, and we need very much systems you promised us. And you've seen what happened yesterday in our city, Zaporizhia. Russia's bombs killed 13 people and 112 were injured. That was just one day, just one attack, one strike from the air. We must stop Russia's terror, and you can do it. And we ask for urgent deliveries of air defense systems to deliver on all our agreements for supplies. And I want to thank the helping us with artillery.
Escuchando al presidente ucraniano Volodímir Zelensky mandando mensajes a sus aliados, también mensajes a Donald Trump. Dice que dentro de 11 días, el próximo 20 de enero, se abre un nuevo capítulo, una nueva etapa para Europa, pero también para el mundo. Está hablando también en este caso de los drones. Dice que Ucrania es el mayor productor en Europa. Dice además que son necesarios para poder disuadir al enemigo. Está hablando de que este momento es una oportunidad. Dice además pues que él va a hacer todo lo que pueda, todo lo posible para conseguir el fin de la guerra, pero eso sí, manteniendo la dignidad de Ucrania. Dice que es un objetivo compartido en Europa y que es uno de los objetivos que tiene el propio Zelensky. Está hablando también sobre los ataques a la infraestructura energética que han tenido lugar en las últimas horas con este ataque en Zaporilla, que habría cobrado al menos 113 heridos. Dice que hace un llamamiento tanto a Europa como a Estados Unidos para detener estos ataques por parte de Rusia al sector energético, en un momento además complicado, con un invierno difícil para los ucranianos. Dice Zelensky que al menos 13 personas han fallecido y 112 han resultado heridos en los ataques que tuvieron lugar en el día de ayer en Zaporilla. Nuevos mensajes por parte de Zelensky en esta reunión de Ramstein, la reunión que en este caso dirige la OTAN en Alemania, una reunión que por cierto se ha perdido el presidente actual de Estados Unidos, un Joe Biden que sigue en este caso inmerso en los incendios que siguen teniendo lugar en California. Mensajes por parte de Zelensky, pide más ayuda a sus aliados, sobre todo habla de los drones y además dice que hay que detener los ataques de Rusia a las instalaciones energéticas. Seguimos escuchando a Zelensky.
Зламати всіх нас і вас також. Ось чому нашою метою є знайти так багато інструментів, як можливо, щоб змусити Росію до миру. Я вважаю, що таке розміщення континентів-партнерів є одним з найкращих інструментів. Давайте будемо більш практичними у тому, щоб зробити це можливим. І ми чули сигнали також від деяких наших партнерів, від Сполученого Королівства на підтримку цього, і ми повинні бути хоробрими, і ми маємо пропонувати справді сильні інструменти.
Not just last year, but throughout the war, Russia had to pull almost 60,000 troops of the Ukrainian front to deal with it. And as of this Monday, it's been 5 months since our troops have maintained a buffer zone on Russian territory. Many of Russian threats and bold claims turned out to be bluffing, especially after Ukraine's moved into the Kursk region. And I'm sure even more of their threats will prove to be bluffs if we all work even harder. Even harder together to push Russia toward peace. Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you, Secretary. Stay confident. Slava Ukraini. Thank you so much.
Bueno, pues un Volodímir Zelensky en esta reunión de Ramstein en Alemania. Veían precisamente en sus pantallas también al secretario de Defensa de Estados Unidos, Lloyd Austin, que vuelve a remarcar el momento, la oportunidad que tienen para poner fin a este conflicto. Dice que va a hacer todo lo que pueda para terminar con dignidad, buscando la dignidad de Ucrania, y de nuevo vuelve a pedir a sus aliados conseguir esta paz por la fuerza. Dice que hay que empujar a Vladimir Putin, que dice además que no solo está aprovechando esta oportunidad pues para conseguir dinero para Rusia, sino que dice además que está redoblando la apuesta. Un Zelensky que sigue, en este caso, pidiendo ayuda a sus aliados, pone el foco sobre todo en los drones. Eso sí, también sacaba a pecho, decía que Ucrania es el mayor productor en Europa y además habla de los ataques a la infraestructura energética, sobre todo alertando sobre el ataque que ha tenido lugar en Zaporilla en las últimas horas. Habla de 112 heridos, hasta 13 fallecidos en uno de los puntos claves, sobre todo teniendo en cuenta que es la central nuclear más grande de Europa, de Zelensky. Y vamos a pasar al secretario general de la OTAN, Mark Rutte. Va a comparecer en los próximos minutos